Is terrorism real? Now, the fact that you are simply asking this question means you know very well it is not real, and you simply want affirmation. You do not need affirmation. You just need to come out of the drama for a couple of days, and then you start seeing the bigger picture, that terrorism is not real. However, let's focus on why the powers that be are using terrorism to get you to do what they want you to do. We've said in other videos, there are many people that like controlling other people. The more, the merrier. In order to control people, though, you need to get them to give you their power. You cannot simply be a dictator, because dictatorship doesn't last long. But the best form of dictatorship is this thing we call democracy. We will convince them that they have the power, and this way they will give it to us, because there is no way on earth that you can control someone if they do not let you. So terrorism is one of the games they are using to give up your power to them. And I said terrorism, I should have said democracy. Let me explain something about democracy. It's like when you are married or having a long-term relationship with someone, and this someone says to you, man or woman, it doesn't make a difference. We are both the same in this regard. This someone says to you, I am okay with you going out with your friends. And you go out with your friends, and you even say to your friends, my partner is okay with me coming out. Don't I have a good partner? Instead of saying, excuse me, but did I even ask you whether you are okay with me going out or not? See, this is how we give the other person or the government our power. The government keeps telling us, I'm okay with you doing what you like. And we think we have democracy. And as long as you obey these laws, I will leave you alone. And we think we have democracy. Now, because more and more people are starting to understand this, they were entertaining the thought of coming out of the need for government. Just like when you question yourself whether you need to put up with another person or not, whether you want another person in your bed every night, whether you want another person in your house every day, that person starts to see that you are questioning this. And they will either try and convince you that you need them, or they will get violent to scare you, to tell you, don't you even think about becoming independent and thinking for yourself. So the people who use democracy for their dictatorship rules have chosen the first path. I will convince you that you need me. In the beginning, it was the Soviets. The Soviets were a big problem. We are talking about the West here. I have not lived in the East, so I don't know the details. Then, after the Soviets, we had to come up with something else. There is a famous I am detouring here for 1 minute. There is a famous scientist, I do not remember his name, that even from the 60s and 70s had told his assistant that this is all a game. Once the Soviet Union is no longer a threat, they're going to use terrorism. And then once people get tired of terrorism and that stops working, they're going to use the aliens. But remember this, the aliens is the last card. After this, they will have nothing else to use. And this is when their end will come. So, as we get tired, or as we click off the television, like this image here shows us, because really, if we stop watching the news, they will not cause any more of these attacks and call them terrorist attacks. There's nothing terrorist about these attacks. There never has been. It's always us. It's always our governments. In New York, in London, in Madrid, it's always our governments. So, back to why we have terrorism. They are telling us, you need us. You need governments. You need to keep voting for us, and you need to give us your power. We will protect you, but we need your power. We cannot protect you if we do not have your power. Because the energy we are going into right now, it's becoming more and more difficult for someone to control someone else. It's just that the energy cannot sustain it like it could in the past. It's not just that we're going into an energy of where everything is clear and you cannot hide so much anymore. It's not just that these lies are coming out in the open. It's also, you see, in order to do something, the energy around you has to support it. This is how you become successful. And the energy that we are going into on Earth no longer supports controlling someone. So they're getting desperate. So they need to keep convincing us to give them our power. This is all. There's no need for me to go into the details of how these terrorist attacks were not caused by Muslims, because there's plenty of videos on YouTube you can watch by experts. I'm not an expert. Also, I don't focus on it because I know that it's a game. Sometimes I don't like it, but then I step back for a minute and I keep reminding myself it's a game. It's a game. Simply don't play it if you don't like it. And I come out of it. So yes, terrorism is not real, but it is an ingenious way of getting us to give up our power. If you want it to stop, simply click off the television. You might say, I'm only one person. Actually, you're not. You're not only one person. If you were only one person, the people that like running the game would not need to go to these extreme lengths to convince you to give up your power. There are a lot of people questioning democracy and freedom. Don't let anyone tell you you are free to do something. Simply ask yourself, if this person is telling me I am free to do something, this means somewhere along the line I must have given them my power. Do you ever go to a cat out on the street and say to the cat, you are free to do whatever you like? You don't. Because a cat has never given you her power. It's like this. So question yourself. Why is someone telling me I'm free? This means I must have given them my power. How did I do this? By wanting them to save me. By wanting them to protect me. Why did I want them to save me and protect me? Because they convinced me I am in danger and they can protect me. That's all. But let me tell you one thing that is absolutely necessary. Once you start judging them, I'm afraid you have lost the game. Under no circumstances can you judge them, because this way you are telling the universe it is someone else's fault that you are not free. And I'm sorry, but the universe will simply say, oh God, another loser. Next. And then you will be stuck there judging and complaining for the rest of your life. You simply see it as the game that it is. And you say, thank you, but no thank you. That's all. Don't argue. And do not try and prove yourself right. There is no right or wrong. Let people play. Now, I just thought of something else. You might say, 3,500 people lost their lives on September 11th. You can't just say it's a game and walk away. You know what, honey? In America alone, every single day, 1,200 people die because they have been smoking cigarettes all their life. Every single day, 1,200. So, is it death that bothers you? Or is it the fact that someone else caused their death? So see, we're okay with someone smoking themselves to death at a rate of 1,200 a day in just one little country. America might be big in land, but in population it's very small. But we are not okay with someone killing 2.5 days worth of smokers. Now, this does not justify what happened. But you see, when you step back and you see the bigger picture, you don't get fanatic about it. And you don't become a victim, blaming the players. Simply hold on to your power by knowing that no one can save you and no one needs to save you simply because you do not need to be saved. What makes you think you need to be saved? And also, don't let them scare you with all these diseases. That you're going to die from this and you're going to die from that. You know what? Dying from a disease is 10 times better than not living. So start living, and then you won't be so focused on death. Now, let's talk about the aliens a little bit. Really, once we get tired of terrorism, they're going to get alien ships, supposedly, I think it will be a hologram, bombing major cities. I don't know whether it will be one or more than one major city. And then again we give them our power, because only they can protect us from the aliens. Because when we give up our power, we are going through a moment of zero common sense. Let me explain something for 1 minute. If a civilization can travel thousands of light years to get to Earth, do you really think this civilization needs to bomb us in order to have us dead? They don't. If they want us dead, they can kill us in our sleep. No mess, nothing. And then they simply land in the city and it's all theirs. So no aliens will be bombing any city. It will be our governments again. Actually, it will be the people behind the governments. You might say, why are our governments doing this then? It's a game. There's more to this one. Maybe for another video when I know more details. I will leave it at this because it's becoming a long one again.